In part 2 of your syllabus, objective 2 on module 1, objective 2 of your syllabus asks you to explain how files and databases are used in an organization. The content of this lesson will include how data is stored, organized, search, retrieve, eliminate redundancy, data mining, data marts, data warehouse. Now, as you know, a database are used to hold information that is very useful to an organization. A database arrange data in such a way that it will improve the responses that the company gets for data. If the Honorable Minister Peter Bunting wants to find out the crime statistics to date up to September 30, the police high command can give that information in less than an hour, because every police station maintains statistics of crime. And that was what your whole field exercise was about, to go out there and to collect information about an organization that manages its information. So how does the police get its data? How? How does police get their data? They go out all the time by reports. Somebody's raped, they are called in, or the person go and make a report to the police station. If a body was found on the roadway or in a barrel, someone is killed, they call the unit in charge of that investigation to come out and process the crime scene. When a woman is raped, you do a rape kit. They don't bathe. You ask not to bathe if you get raped. Because what do they want from you? Your DNA. The person who raped you, their sweat, saliva, their semen, their fingerprints, everything about their DNA can be on your skin. They break into your house, they must have touched somewhere. So the police come and use the dust, and the dust everywhere in your house to find the fingerprints. And based on the stored fingerprints, they try to find out if there's any match in a database or a criminal. Because the only time your fingerprints get into a police database is if you are charged in a court of law and the judge order your fingerprints to be taken. Fingerprints are only taken in serious crimes. But once you are a convicted offender, you must be convicted under the law. Your fingerprints, all 10 prints, must be taken. They do a facial picture of you from 3 different angles. So the police get information from visiting crime scene. People also give them information, whether anonymous, they call in and tell crime stuff, they email it in, or they come and they visit the police station. So if there's an accident, the drivers of the vehicle have a responsibility within 48 hours to report the accident to the nearest police station. It's a law. If a child comes to school and the teacher believes the child is being abused, the signs are there, especially in children who are under the age of 14 or sometimes up to 15. Based on their behavior, you can tell that the child is being abused. Sometimes girls don't want, when a boy touch them, they behave a certain way. Or when a boy and male to touch them, like they hold them on the shoulder or something, they behave aggressive towards it because of hatred. Now, if a teacher believes a child is being abused, and we as teachers do not take any step to report it and to seek help for you, we can be charged under the law of sexual offense against a minor, because we know about a crime taking place and we have evidence of the crime. We know it, we see it, I will report it. So other persons in society might also give information to the police. When they're in investigation, they go and investigate. They go and ask people questions. And if you don't want to give them willingly, they can go to the court and get a subpoena for you to go before the judge. And if you fail to give evidence in an open court to a judge, the judge can hold in contempt of court for as long as they want, until they have given evidence that they need. So police collect information everywhere. They're on the road. They see an accident take place or they see somebody get robbed, they start chasing the person. And the minute they start to chase, they go on their radio and they call it in. The people at the police high command, right here on Olope Road, right here at the commissioner's office, monitor the radio waves when they're on the high command. Because the whole idea is for them to disseminate information, what is happening. Other police vehicles that are on the road can now give assistance when there's a need. So, what is it that the police, they must store information every day. Whenever you go in to give a statement to the police, they give you a receipt of that statement. And once you have given a statement at a police station, you must get a receipt. Your statement must be signed in the presence of the officer, and before you leave, it should be signed by the senior most officer on duty at the time. And it must be entered in the logbook. And the logbook is a big book in the police station. That is a physical record there. The logbook is only removed upon the instruction of the Commissioner of Police. If a judge gets a statement out of the logbook, it's called a station diary. They log it about the shooting on Mona Road. 3 men were seen running across the road. 2 were wearing ties belonging to a particular high school, looking at schoolboy age. One of them had a bleach out face and they described things. The policeman saw when the man pulled a revolver on his waist and opened fire on the police, and the police returned fire and the youths were killed. 2 policemen got shot but not fatal. And they give evidence, they write the statement. Maybe a driver who was on Mona Road might have seen what happened, and they might be feel compelled to go in and report the matter and give eyewitness account. Because then again, you can talk about police brutality. That the police of the youth are walking innocent upon the road and just open fire and kill them in cold blood. You know 99.99% of the time that's a lie. Because no police in their right mind is going to open a gun and just shoot you. And the only time that's happened in recent time was the case in Ocho Rios, where the little madman was on the ground were kicking him, and the man took him gun and shoot the man in cold blood. But normally, under normal circumstances, notice I said under normal circumstances, a policeman is not going to discharge his firearm unless he feels his life is in jeopardy. If you're coming and mash it off of him, he's not going to shoot you. Because they have been trained. And even in a school, as a teacher, if I see a fight taking place, there's a way we go about in separating people who are fighting. If you see you have a weapon in your hand and stab somebody, we are not to come in front of you. We are taught to come behind you and try and grab the hand of the person with the knife in their hand. Try and grab the hand. Not to come in front. Because we ourselves might end up becoming injured by the person stabbing at you. So, every day they store records in organization. When you're all coming to sixth form, you have to fill out the application form, bring and come your birth paper, your injection card came in, your school reports came in, recommendations came in for your school. All of these things we collected from you. Your CXC results came in. And if we are in doubt of your CXC result, our CXC exam coordinator can go online and access CXC database and check if your result is actually valid. Databases in organization allows to organize records. So the police can count up all the people who had accident parish by parish. The number of fatalities, number of persons injured, parish by parish. What vehicles were involved in it, the time of day of the accident, whether the person was under the influence of alcohol or marijuana. They can collect all of that data and they can organize it parish by parish. They can break it down by police division. St. Andrew North, St. Andrew South, St. Andrew Central. They can break it down by police division. They could break it down by county, by Cornwall, Middlesex, or Surrey. All of these add up all data for each parish together to get the county record. And then, because they can search for last year's data, they can go and look for last year's data. They can retrieve it out of databases or flat files. They can compare last year up to September, 185 persons were killed on our roadway. 240 persons were injured. Of this number, 43% were children. Compared to the period last year, there has been an 8% increase in road fatalities for the corresponding period last year. The police can retrieve information from the past and they can compare it against the present. Because what they use is ferries. All the accidents between January 1, 2012 to September 30, 2012. The legislative for this year, January 1, 2013 to September 30th, 2013. And they can compare statistics of crime. That way they can tell if there's any increase or decrease in crime. And haven't you heard on the news before? Have you ever heard police give statistics on TV when they have press conferences and they call the media in? So the famous one now is SSP Lewis. When drivers in Homewood accidents were being charged, he could come out with all the printout of all the tickets that the person was given by police and get copies of all the summons that they have. And those are since 2013. They could go in and search by his name, match him TR number to his name, and they could search the database and pull out all of his records. Because database allow you to search for records by using criteria, and they could retrieve the data from the record. And that retrieval was important at the time because he was saying that insurance companies have a role to play, and so is the transport authority, that these persons should not be given license to drive buses if they have so many tickets outstanding, unpaid, and they have not been charged in a court of law. When one driver has 135 sanctions for violating the road code, and he's driving a bus with children in it, almost every 2 years, Homewood has a nasty accident. And that is why they are now putting plans in place to fix the problem. But there have been statistics that the students in Manchester take these packed buses, the highest buses, built for 14 people and holding 35 people. And you don't realize when these buses are speeding, music playing, and you and I know when the music turn up, you get into our vibes. And sometimes the drivers themselves also are under the influence of alcohol, or they're smoking. So you know about the party buses on Kingston in the evening. The students go into these buses that play music and just drive around town, and then pay like 3 bills and drive and down for the whole evening in the bus. Free ride. No, we have, as a school, we have seen buses come and pick up kids at the gate, and we called Matilda's car and stop the buses down the road 2 years ago. A bus was found at 9:30 in the morning driving down in half a tree with kids in it of Permanent High School. Is that where I tell them, right? Oh. Now, databases allows us to eliminate redundancies. So if CXC runs a query and they see 2 Aaron Edwards, they check for the middle name if it matches, and if they find the same Aaron George Edwards twice, they check the database, because unlikely there can be 2 Aaron George Edwards, but unlikely they will have the same date of birth. So if they see a CXC record for Aaron Edward of Jamaica for May, June 2013, and the Alston Aaron Edward in Barbados for the same exam period, what they do is that they check for redundancy in the database.
In a class.
Now, what they do is that they look for records, and when they find it, what they try to take out is the redundancy, because if there is redundancy in the data, what does that mean? If there is redundancies in the data, and in database, when do we have what creates, how do we get redundancies in a database? You enter the same record twice, so you duplicate the same effort. But there's another way where you get redundancies in a database. How? When you do a what? When you do a what? How else can redundancy appear in a database object? There must be a table. When you don't create what? Relationship. If you have database tables and you link them and there's no keys between the tables, then therefore there's going to be record repetition. Yes? No. Redundancy is not a good thing to have in database, because when records are being repeated, it gives you bad information. That is why we don't have several forms for you. You have one form, teacher. Different persons can be handling the data, so we might end up counting it twice. Because we have to remember, we have to remove redundancies in databases. Right? We have to remove the redundancy in database. Any repeat of record in a database is an undesirable characteristic. You don't want records repeat in a database. Because if CXC sees that Mona has 130 persons in Cape IT Unit 2, but the same name, Sonia, comes up 3 times, and Aaron name come up 2 times, then something doesn't sound right. It means that the data is being repeated. So what might end up, they might overcount the number of persons doing the exam, print extra, print what they don't need, take on more markers they don't need, because they can do that. May I borrow a phone, please? Sorry. Take a break, please.